when you vacate.
Yeah, I had personally vacated. And honestly, you know, Sean and Danny almost owe me 5%. You know what I'm saying? You know, they kind of almost owe me 5%. You know what I mean? I was almost a matchmaker. You ask me. I did pretty good there. You know. Honestly, though, I just believe that the sport deserved that fight. I believe that they needed that fight because they both wanted the rematch. And I you know, coming off of injuries and things like that, I'm not gonna come off of injury and give both of you guys a rematch as soon as possible. You know, so it's not in your reach. It's what they kind of wanted from me was unattainable. So stop looking at me. Right? And why don't you guys fight it out? And the winner obviously deserves something, right? And if you ask me, Sean Porter versus Danny Garcia is a championship match. So, you know, obviously I would have never given up that title and we wouldn't have seen the fight like that if I wasn't injured. But because I was injured, I had no problem allowing these guys to fight it out and prove to me which one is worthy of the rematch. You know, which one really wants it. You know, and I like Danny's performance, but once again, he fell short, which I predicted in my fight prediction that he was going to fall short in throwing enough punches. Right? I did. You know, and honestly, he impressed me even more than I thought he would. Actually, I don't know. Actually, because I fought him, he kind of didn't impress me more, but he might have surprised me just a snippet in the actual fight. But what surprised me a little bit more was how Sean did more outside work than predicted. You know what I'm saying? And I think he was trying to take a little snippet out of the Keith Thurman book. That's just me. You know what I'm saying? Utilizing the ring and this and that. But they both fought hard. It was a close competitive fight, but I did have Sean winning the fight. And Sean was a more competitive fight for me personally. I did not have the same, you know, I definitely didn't give Danny enough rounds in the fight against me, that whole split decision thing. I think Sean was closer to a split decision, though I believe the scorecards were right in the Sean Porter fight. I did have the fight, you know, 7 rounds to 5, and I had 8 rounds to 4 when I fought Danny on a personal level, you know. So I just think, I just thought that Sean was going to do better. He did, and I don't know, I just read an article lately, he said, I beat Keith Thurman easily. And it's like, you didn't beat me the first time. How does it easily occur the second time? You know what I'm saying? So,
how incorrect are people when they, in your time away from the ring, when they started looking ahead right away to Crawford and Spence, you know, how incorrect are they for starting to count you out of those top 2 picture? Because it seemed like everyone started making that the fight.
I mean, like I've been telling people all week, Crawford doesn't impress me at 147. He was very impressive in the lower weight classes and things of that nature, but he's just, you know, Jeff Horn doesn't go 5 rounds with Keith Thurman and Errol Spence. You know what I mean? And he went 8 with Crawford, you know? Is that because he stayed southpaw the whole time? He never fought right-handed practically in the whole fight. When he switched right-handed for 30 seconds, he actually slapped him up pretty good. If I was his coach, I would tell him, next round, finish it just like that. Like, we're done, you know? I mean, so I wonder if that's what he was doing, like if he was just playing, if he was just enjoying himself, right? Because like when I fought Bundu, you know, the knockout was there. I could have had that guy. But what y'all don't understand is I trained really hard. I had a very unique training camp, and I got it in. I got the fight. I got to play. I got to enjoy myself while I'm working live on television while you're watching. And I just think that maybe as I'm like somewhat disrespecting Crawford because I think that's what he was doing, you know, and if that's what he was doing, then that means he definitely had more to give. He could have painted his face up a lot better, a lot sooner, and a lot quicker, and I just kind of believe that. But yeah, he hasn't beaten a Sean Porter, he hasn't beaten a Danny Garcia, he hasn't beaten an Errol Spence, Keith Thurman, and I mean, to me, he hasn't beaten an Amir Khan. So what's he done at 147? You know, I understand why people throw him right in the mix. You know, some people are calling him number 1. Some people are calling him number 2 and 3.
Some people think he's pound for pound.
Yeah, people think he's pound for pound. He's moved up in multiple weight classes, something that I'm not able to do. You know what I mean? And certain fighters have the luxury of doing that and have the skill set to keep competing. But 9 out of 10 times, you hit a wall. And a lot of times that wall is the welterweight division.
Is Mikey going to hit that wall against Errol Spence?
I mean, I'm pretty sure everybody believes so. You know, I just saw him. Mikey was here, Spence was here. I'm looking, and I go, his face, like it's like this right now, because this is a good height ratio, right? Mikey's face is right here for the right hook. Errol Spence does not have to adjust. Where Errol Spence's shoulder is where Mikey's face is. That, if it's a right hook that puts it down, Thurman said it first.
And Keith, man, when we talk about pure talent, gifts, you know, just stuff you're born with, all right, do you feel you have more gifts, you're more talented than the Spences, the Garcias, the Crawfords, the Porters, in terms of speed, power, gifts?
You know, I'll talk about the gifts. My gift that I've been blessed with is power. I do believe in my punching power. We all see Spence's punching power. But because I've chosen to box and stick and move and done certain things, I haven't chosen to go for the knockout. And I've debated with myself, you know, what's the difference between Keith Thurman and Errol Spence? And Errol, they're both powerful punchers, but Spence comes through every time. He's getting these stoppages a lot of times. And Thurman stopped doing that. What's the deal? And in my own self-reflection, I believe it's the corner. And obviously I have a great corner, right? But my coach, Dan Birmingham, all he wants is victory. And if you see how Errol Spence and his team are focused, they are focused on man down. It takes a level of focus to be a knockout artist. It really does. It takes a certain, you know, it does. It takes a certain level of focus.
The mindset.
And the mindset. And they go in with that focus and that mindset each and every time. Where me, I've had a lot of knockouts. I've knocked out more people than is definitely on my record. You know what I'm saying? Throughout my whole boxing and gym
in and
career.
out the ring?
Yeah, you know, all in the ring.
Okay, all in the ring.
All in the ring. Official, you know. So I developed all my skills. So you were talking about natural talent, innate talent. But what I wanted to comment above that is what's more important than innate talent and innate attributes is what you do with it and after it. So you can have this punching power, but obviously if all you're trying to do is counterpunch like Danny Garcia, you know what I'm saying, then how effective are you? You know what I'm saying? And he's blessed. He's a heavy-handed guy. Even for being a smaller welterweight, he still has heavy hands. I felt it in my fight. It's respectable power, and it can do damage if it hits you in the right place at the right time, which we've all witnessed many times, right? So, but he's never added to that. So he's limited himself by only relying on that one individual innate talent. You don't want to rely on your innate talent. You want to be grateful that you have whatever innate ability it is, hand speed, reflexes, whatever that is. You want to be grateful and utilize it, but you need to build upon yourself, right? So, for example, when I talk to amateurs, I say, why are you practicing the punch that you're good at? Why are you hitting the bag with this straight right hand which looks good and you should throw it like that each and every time? But how come you haven't thrown one body shot on the bag? How come you're on the uppercut bag yet you haven't thrown an uppercut yet? You know what I'm saying? Like there's just small things like that. And what gives me so much confidence is not my innate abilities, but what I've taught myself outside of what I've already been able to do my whole boxing career. Because, for example, Mike Tyson, we all know Mike Tyson was a devastating puncher and he was destroying people left and right, but he plateaued. You know, he hit his mark, and certain people who weren't scared of Tyson, because 90% of the people that ever got in the ring with Mike Tyson were already scared of Mike Tyson. So the few fighters that weren't scared of Mike Tyson, who believed in what they were bringing into the ring and not what he was about to dish to them, they were able to stand toe-to-toe. And some just put up a good fight, and others pulled off an upset, you know? So like I was saying, it's not what you were born with, but it's how you utilize that and what you build upon it. For those people, for all the amateurs out there working hard, coming to the gym each and every day, stop practicing the same way. Stop practicing the same way.
Look good, keep Thurman. It's game time.
Stop.
When you're done, grab yourself something to eat, and then we'll get you out here.
All right.
Take time.
Stop practicing the same way. You know, if you throw one jab, one jab, one jab, you need to throw 2 and 3. You know what I'm saying? If you got to really, not every fighter can do it, but well, I believe every fighter can double up on the hook, but not every fighter can triple up on the hook, right? But if you're one of those more speedy fighters, you know what I mean? You got to get creative, and you got to think outside of the box. Keith One-Time Thurman is an outside of the box thinker, right? When I was on the ropes with Sean Porter, you know what I mean? That was a strategy. My mother cussed me out for it, but it was still a winning strategy. And
Explain
I knew
that.
what I was doing.
Explain that strategy, because you got hit with a body shot on the rope. So explain that strategy to
That
fight
body
Sean.
shot wasn't as bad as it looked on TV. So what happened was I got hit with the body shot. I felt that I got hit with the body shot, so I started moving. As I started moving, that motherfucker's chasing me. So as he's chasing me, I'm just moving more, and the commentators are like, Thurman's hurt, he's on the run. And it's just, you know, I was just trying to move away, and as he's chasing me, I'm like, well, let's keep moving away. And I'm like, no, now he's really chasing you. He was really on top of you. And I was explaining later on in my gym, I explained this many times, not too many fighters can be right on top of you like Sean Porter. He does very special footwork drills to, when you're trying to go, his feet, he gets a little down, and then he's just pushing, and they practice that. If you watch anything online, you'll get a few snippets of his footwork practice on how he's just aggressively wanting to be right there in your face, not giving you any room to breathe. And so all I was doing was trying to get a little, like I said, I felt the body shot, so I reacted and I moved accordingly. And then as I saw the rush down, I'm just in a little bit of flee mode, but it wasn't out of pain, you know? So what really happened in that fight, which I don't mind talking about because it will never happen again. New game plan, Sean, okay? So I can explain everything. You're still not gonna beat me, Sean, all right? Anyways, so I knew Sean from the amateurs. I knew him from training camps.
Well, y'all sparred together.
Yeah, we sparred together. I know Sean very well. So I knew that it wasn't going to just be a complete easy fight, and that he was going to train hard because of the respect that they have for me, him and Kenny Porter, him and his father. They have a lot of respect for me, and I knew they were going to show me all that respect by how hard they trained for the fight.
Amen. You're right.
You see what I'm saying? And if you ask me, he was way better prepared for me than he was for Danny Garcia. His performance against me was superior than his performance against Danny Garcia, even though his performance against me was a losing performance and his performance against Danny was a winning performance. At least that's my opinion, you know.
I gotta ask you this, you're undefeated, you're one of the best pound-for-pound fighters. People always give you credit, and they always say, oh, he doesn't take a good body shot. How could they say that when you've never lost and everybody's hit you
Never
with
lost,
with the
I
kitchen sink?
didn't go down, you know.
Is that a misconception about Keith Thurman?
Yeah, I mean, let's just put it like this. Let me hit you in the body and see what happens. Let them hit you to the body and see what happens, you know? Everybody knows the day Luis Collazo hit me, everybody knows after post-fight, they're like, Thurman got hit, Thurman got hit. But real boxers know Thurman didn't go down. Fuck the fact that he got hit. I mean, we all saw that. But he didn't go down, you know? And that's what makes champions, okay? Now, I gotta admit, if it was, how can I say this, maybe about 3 more pounds of pressure, right? If there was any more pressure to that shot, I don't think I would have had a choice. I think I would have been put down, okay? And that was the only thing, was he hit me hard, and he made me, and I felt it. But as I curled over, my brain said, take a knee, and then my other brain said, fuck that, because
You have 2 brains.
I got two brains. I got two brains, bro. It's very complicated. So,
So who do you listen to, left or right?
I listen to all of them.
Hey, Silly.
But one is smarter than the other. Taking a knee wouldn't have been a bad result in that fight. Wouldn't have been a bad result.
Tim Bradley did it.
I think it's a very smart move for fighters that they avoid.
A lot of people don't understand the fight game like I know the fight game. I'm prepared to take knees because I want to continue fighting. I'm a powerful puncher.
Win the war, not the battle.
Yeah, you know, it's okay. You know, like you said, Timothy Bradley and things of that nature. So what happened was, as I had the feeling that I should take a knee, the other voice said, you take a knee, you got to stand up. Right? And I was already bent over. And I was like, if you go down, you still have to stand up. So when I was like this, bent over in pain, I said, fuck it, stand up now. If you can stand up now, you can fight for survival. Obviously that round, the rest of that round, that's a fight for survival kind of round right there. The last 30 seconds or whatever, and you guys all witnessed that. I survived. I came out the next round, and what did I do the next round? This is actually very ironic, and you can go back and watch it just to verify, but ironically enough, I came out the next round only focused on one thing. How bad does Luis Collazo want to knock out Keith Thurman? That's it. That's the only question I had in my head. After a certain amount of time went by, I go, Keith doesn't look like he wants that. Cool. Pop, pop. Back to work. Back to winning this round. I know I lost that last round, but we can take back this round, and I won all the previous rounds. I wasn't really too worried about the overall fight, so let's just get back to the work. He landed one great shot on Keith one-time Thurman, you know? So at that time, though, the very most interesting thing about the lapse of time from when I was inactive to getting back active after the body shot is, how long in that next round do you think it was till I actually opened up and started fighting Luis Collazo again? How about it was exactly a minute and a half in a 3-minute round?
Really? I'll look at it. Now,
you know what I'm saying? So I just want to say it was my internal clock knew that obviously if you ain't trying to knock me out within this first minute and a half, then you ain't about that this round, you know? So obviously he must have respected the fact that I sat down and that I was going to come back fully recovered. But if he wanted it, he could have showed it to me with his body language. The fact that he didn't allowed me to just continue and fight.
Do you want Spence next or Crawford next if you had a choice?
That's hard. So the reason is because I believe that the Spence fight is the Manny Pacquiao Floyd Mayweather fight of this generation. Okay, so with that opinion of mine and what I would like to accomplish and what I know Errol would like to accomplish, if I really could have it my way, when I fight Errol Spence. Like, okay, so we're going to fight for belts, obviously, but if I could have it my way, I would fight Errol Spence and all the belts would be on the line. It will be what certain analysts think. What I don't like is Keith Thurman fights Errol Spence, Keith beats Spence, Spence beats Keith, but the show's not over till we fight Bud. You know what I'm saying? I think the show's over, bro. I think number one is one of these two. I think Bud is a tremendous fighter. I just don't think he's going to dominate 147 in the way that he dominated 140. I just don't see that happening. So, yeah, you know, if it would be really because I want it to be the final fight of the welterweight division, I would take Bud. I would have 3 belts, and then the winner, you know, then you fight Spence, and then obviously I collected all the belts, and I get all the respect, and it's worth it. You know what I mean? But I think Spence is a bigger fight. I don't think Bud is even is that big of a draw. I think he's growing. I think he's growing, but I still don't think he's that big of a draw. And it's going to be interesting with him with ESPN, and then what happens with the Spence and Mikey fight. And I think that's going to push Spence even further up the ladder, which is going to make him even more of a draw, which makes me want to fight Spence way more than Bud Crawford at this current time.
So how does Keith Thurman gain the trust back in boxing fans?
Don't know, don't care.
Don't care.
I
Why?
think they love him.
No. It's been mixed emotions about because some people say
because you are only talking about the haters.
No. We talking about people who spend money. We got to talk about people who spend money. You damn near sold out the Barclays Center.
Yep.
right? You're just under Danny Garcia in terms of selling out the Barclays Center, and you haven't fought in 2 years. So
Yeah.
whether it's time or whether people believe you were or were not injured, I think there's some reciprocity or bridge you must
let's
connect.
believe that I don't want to make millions of dollars. That's the funniest part about that philosophy.
Well, you're back on the mic. You're back in front of a camera and a microphone. So it's
that's
all
the
you.
funny. That's why I don't care what you guys think. You think that a dude that used to only couldn't. Well, I got some dress shoes on, but I had my Nikes on earlier. But Mama didn't even buy me Nikes back in the day, right? You know, fighters come from hard backgrounds. I don't need to give you this story. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, most fighters. Yep.
Exactly. It's not like my background was the roughest, but I wasn't. There was nothing fancy. There's no doctors and lawyers in my family. Okay, so let's just keep the story short. At the end of the day, I'm making my dream come true. I'm fighting for 7 figures, win or lose. If you watch boxing, you don't understand boxing, you should understand that we get paid regardless of we win or lose. I'm not afraid to let it go. If you can beat me, beat me. I'm ranked #1. Who's going to beat me? Where's my rank going to be? It's still going to be in the top 10. I can re-fight. I can reappear. Muhammad Ali got beat, then came back and beat the people that beat him. You know, I think he beat everybody that beat him except for one fighter. You know, so, you know, if you're not about competition, then what are you about? You know? So, you know, the thing is, I haven't been in the proper health to properly compete, you know?
What percentage are you right now, would you say?
90.
90?
90, man.
2 years. I'm speaking from a realistic perspective. 2 years off, injuries. We can expect 100% Keith Thurman, Sean Porter, Keith Thurman.
Definitely.
We can expect that Keith Thurman at Barclays.
Definitely. But the other thing too is, what if next year I get offered and they start negotiations with Manny Pacquiao? That's a wild card. Okay. I wasn't given an opportunity to fight against Floyd Mayweather in my career. So if I was given the opportunity to fight Manny Pacquiao, he's the last living, breathing, active, legendary fighter. Even though he's had his ups and downs, he still has such a tremendous Filipino fan base and just tremendous fan base in general. And it would be a beautiful opportunity to share the ring with such a legend, even if it happens to be towards the end of his career.
So you're assuming Manny Pacquiao beats Adrian Broner?
No, I don't assume that.
Okay.
Because I actually. I haven't made him favorite at all against AB because I love AB's last performance, even though he could have got a little bit more active a little bit sooner and made that fight a victory and not a draw. He could have made that fight a victory. But because I know he could have made that fight a victory, then there's possibility that I mean, he's going to be competitive, you know, and a lot of people are very competitive against Pacquiao. Pacquiao doesn't just normally blow through all of his opponents. He takes shots and gives shots, and we know that, you know. And AB can be a little defensive, can be a little passive, and he can get behind on the scorecards, you know what I mean? So it's a good fight, but the thing is, if AB wins, of course, I would rather fight Sean than AB, but I would take Pacquiao over Sean.
I got you.
You see what I'm saying? It's just one of those situations.
Makes sense.
One of those situations.
3 times this year?
If Lord has it, yes, sir.
Really?
I would love to because I got to play makeup. Like I said, man, y'all think I want to be inactive, man? There's so much money on that table, boy. So much money.
Speaking of that, I mean, getting back to my question I just alluded to. When they panned to Earl Spence, everyone cheered. When they panned to you, they booed. Now, I was a fan before I was in media, so I will humbly say to you that there's some repairing that I believe Keith Thurman must do to gain our trust and believe that you're 100%, you're all in, because, you know,
people don't care. I'm a world champion.
You are a world champion.
No, I'm a world champion.
You are a world champion.
I'm a world champion.
I had you #1 at welterweight before you got injured. I had you #1 at welterweight.
I could care less where they put me right now, bro. Because no matter where the ranking is, everyone's going to still say the if, ands, ors, or buts until all these belts are held out by one person. Okay. You understand? Because we're all young, and we're not Floyd Mayweather. We're not here just for the money. We want to be the best, #1. We're all around the same age group. Floyd didn't have that. This is a very special time in boxing. This is a very special time in the welterweight division, and I'm a very special fighter.
You are a special fighter.
Okay, who calls you out? Who beefs from the other fighters beef with you the most on social media? Because everyone likes to talk to you on social media.
I don't know. I don't pay attention.
But you answer them. You have fun with it.
Sometimes when I'm overseas, I'll get on the IG and I'll start like, you know what I mean? And I've had like someone hit me on the DM and he was like, blah, blah, blah. And then I'm messaging him and then like several messages later, he's like, you were a pretty good, cool dude one time. I didn't know that. You know what I mean?
How about the fan?
Like, darn straight you didn't know that. You don't know me, bro. You know the persona of every interview and every TV appearance I've ever made. You never met me in the streets. You never been to my mama's house. You ain't never had none of the good cooking. You know what I'm saying?
You're a lightning rod. No, Keith, you're a lightning rod. Whether you're an enigma or an asset, to people, you're a lightning rod. And when you had all these quotes, I'm not afraid to let it go, son, everyone, that was a hashtag, and you moved the meter. Now, we just want to know that, will you consistently move that meter for the next 3 or 4 years? That's all we want from you.
Well, I will admit, when I first hit the scene, I didn't have nothing and I wanted it, right? So when we acquired what we wanted, we felt more established. When you're a king of a kingdom, there's less, even though there is more to worry about, but in a sense there's less to worry about. Like, you know, there's definitely less back talk, you know what I mean? But not in my industry, obviously, you know what I mean? But I can take the back talk. Sure. Why? Because I put myself in a great position. And you're only talking bad about me. People are only talking about me mostly because they miss me, baby. I know it, baby. I know you got love for me deep down inside. All that hatred is just you want to see me again, baby.
After
I know
boxing, WWE for sure. Guaranteed. You have to. After boxing, WWE.
What's the signature move? I don't, you know,
you gotta make one. One of your uppercut. Your
the people's uppercut.
The people's uppercut. I'm gonna get it like Ryu.
Yeah. The people's uppercut.
Did you miss anything being off? I mean, besides the fighting, you missed
missed a whole lot of paychecks, baby. We out, man. Well, I'm out.
Appreciate you, Keith. Thank you.
Follow you.
Keith one time Thurman on the IG. Keith Thurman Jr. What's that? Facebook. And besides anything else, I don't.
How's your dad doing, by the way?
Oh, Pops is good. Pops went vegan for a little bit. He's been losing weight. Yeah, he's been losing weight. He's trying to, you know, get that whole blood sugar thing, get off all that prescription stuff, man. You know, I mean, that's the kind of world that we're in today. I always said it when I was young. When you're young, you don't understand politics anyways, right? So all I kept hearing was healthcare, healthcare, healthcare. And I'm like, yo, the spirit in me says, if you want to talk about healthcare, take care of your health. Right? Isn't that kind of self-explanatory? You know what I'm saying? But now that I'm older, and then your boy's getting taxed on that health care. You know what I mean?
Well, you live in a tax-free state, though, which is a blessing.
Yeah, not that health care, though.
It's very expensive, and you're married now, so maybe you carry 2 people.
You know, I got a whole family taken care of, bro. It costs guap,
yes, it does.
You know, monthly guap, you know. But I'm happy to provide that for my family and for my loved ones. But the American healthcare situation is a problem that does need to be addressed, because even though what I said is a logical philosophy that one should take care of one's health, there still is accidents. And to make us, the American people, hardworking, everyday people,
he's leaving now,
come out of their pockets so much. When a lot of people can't afford the kind of doctor bills that, you know, they're receiving. So
thank you, Keith. You gave us 35 minutes, man. Appreciate you, King.
Keith Thurman, stay tuned. Please report.com. Always back reporting.